Camera's rolling. All right. Okay, Eric. Oh, let's settle in here. So, Eric, do I have your permission to film you for Between Two Apple Boxes?
Oh yeah, that's cool.
You know, I got to get all that lawyer stuff out of the way.
Oh yeah.
So, hey, tell the folks who you are and what your passion is.
Oh, my name is Erik Powers, and I'm passionate about personal training, graphic design, and fine art.
And then how did you combine the personal training with the fine art? I mean, it almost seems,
Oh
it's not on the same,
yeah.
on the same freeway.
Oh yeah. Well, sometimes with these artworks that I do, they're really large, so I have to be strong to lift and move them and maneuver the artwork around, and tilting and all these angles and stuff. And then long hours doing it, your lower back and everything gets tight, and then you have to just be strong and dexterity with your hands.
So your athleticism back in the day is kind of helping you with your art right now.
Yeah,
So-
definitely.
And then what made you choose, let's say, art? I know you're doing the personal training, but
Yeah.
I understand you also played some ball and ran some track back in the day.
Yeah.
What made you segue out of that athletic life and more into your art life?
I just feel that the physicality over time will wear and tear. Like you're not gonna be able to do that for a whole lifetime, like football or running track and stuff, because your body, wears down over time. But the artwork I can sustain a lot longer because my creativity ability is just keep evolving and changing and getting more and more strong passion and drive towards doing different mediums.
And then how long did you Eric? Did you do the art? Were you did you start out like when you were in grade school, or when
Yeah.
did you discover that part of your expression?
Oh, between like 5 and 8 years old, and then just constantly just creating stuff. And then I was like, first I was making things, trying to look them as real as possible, and then make them look shiny, make them have depth and reflective light, bounce light, and all these things started to come into play with my artwork. So I just kept evolving and growing with it.
And then, well, I played some ball back in the day, but when you're in the 70s, you could be like 5'4", 170 play nose guard what I did.
Oh wow!
But obviously, I couldn't. I wanted to play for USC. There's no way at 5'4" you can do that. So eventually, I followed my heart and I went into cinematography and the film world.
Oh wow!
Was there a point, did you have a dream to maybe play ball professionally or run track or go to the Olympics? Or?
Oh yeah, I did at one point, but then everybody's kept getting bigger and faster and stronger, and bigger, faster, stronger is what you always have to evolve your body to be able to handle the demands on the field or the track. And then if you're just not getting to that level that the rest of the competition is rising to, then you slowly have to exit out.
Yeah, for me it was, it was a little more obvious because being the size that I am, there's no way I'm going to play college ball, and but for you, you're kind of in the pocket there. So
Yeah.
how tough was it to kind of realize that maybe that dream I'm going to have to follow my other passion, and then at what point in your life did that take over?
Oh, that was between high school going into college at Long Beach City College, and then that transition was just real as like cutting a piece of butter or like a stake in the ground. It was like a fork in the road between making this decision or that. And it was like, well, these guys are a lot stronger and bigger and faster than me. So I already knew I had this passion with the artwork, so I just kept pursuing that. And it was just on the field, I decided after that big old hard hit to the chest with the football helmet,
Right.
and the impact of that was just too great to keep continuing on. So I was like, not worth the risk.
Right. And for me, it was all of the athletic endeavors I did because I played ice hockey, I did football, did a little shot put, was terrible at it. But I was passionate about all of them, and we have this little delusion, one day I'm gonna, be a baller, and as you get older, you realize, that really can't happen. Mm-hmm. And I started off in the corporate world. I have a business degree. I never went to film school or any of that stuff.
Oh wow!
So when I was having midlife crisis early in my 20s, I started having that same feeling as like when I couldn't play ball. I go, I hated my life in the corporate world. I mean, I was good at it. But I knew I had to. I was called to work in the visual medium because I love photography. I love movies, and then one day I just decided to like say, I just got to go for it.
Yeah.
Was that something that you felt as well? As like you just had to kind of just go for it, and no matter what anybody told you, I think I just got to do what I got to do.
Yeah, that's definitely how it kind of came about. And then I was just kept exploring like abstract and photorealism and different types of arts. So I was just trying to like grow and like learn the knowledge of whatever it is with the art that I was trying to do at that moment and apply it right away. And I just kept doing it, learn it, apply it right away.
And then were people telling you that, hey, that's, being an artist, working in that type of medium, people are going to college, people are starting to, get a career going.
Yeah.
Did you get any pushback or did you get people saying, Eric, I don't think you should do that? Or
Yeah.
maybe even being like, you're going to fail? Did you ever
Yeah.
have any people, expressing that to you that were close to you?
Yeah, I definitely had one guy that was in particular was really did that all the time. He thought like negative reinforcement would work for me, and I was like the polar opposite because I had a passion on what I want to do and how I want to do it, and I despised that particular person when they would always put me down or say, not encouraging things. So then I was just like even that more motivated to do it even more, in spite of that person.
And then on the opposite end, were there people in your life that were actually encouraging you and supporting you and saying, I spot your talent and I think you can do this?
Oh yeah, that would definitely be my mom and my dad. They would always encourage me, and even my sister and my brother, when they saw the abilities just getting greater and greater, and like drawing people look like photographs exactly like it, like replicating any image or something small, and then proportionally making it larger without using grids or graphs. And I just kept doing that, like effortlessly. It seemed like they were like, "You got a talent. You need to push for this."
And then for your art, what did you gravitate to at the beginning? Was it pencil drawing? Was it
Oh,
painting? Was it objects? What were you into?
it was mainly like still life, portraits, and like I was always using like pencil and ink all the time between those two. And then I did some color pencil as well. And then later it got into the painting stuff. So
And then,
I didn't really start the painting until like uh, Long Beach City, going into Long Beach State. Yeah.
how much natural ability did you have, like as a kid? Did you kind of
Oh.
doodle and draw, or
Oh yeah.
tell me a
I'd,
little bit about that?
I'd doodle and draw like almost every day, like probably about 15 to 20 drawings a day. And then just constantly just drawing different things I see, like animals on the ground, different creatures and stuff like that. I would just draw them to the T in like small little books or encyclopedias. Just draw the insects and reptiles and stuff, just to the T, like exactly how they looked.
So you had an aptitude. When when did you start actually working more on developing technique and craft? Was that at a
Oh,
young age as well? Did you realize that
yeah.
doodling is one thing, but you actually have to learn your craft, you
Oh,
learn your
yeah.
art?
That was probably before I took any art class. I learned that ability right around like age of 8 or about 10 years old. I was starting to get paid for my artwork when I was 10 or 12 years old. And then I just kept developing different styles and everything. My mom wanted me just to gravitate towards whatever I wanted to do and whatever style I wanted to bring it in. So, and then the art became powerful. And then when people start seeing the artwork that I do, they would just have a natural knack towards wanting to see it and gravitate towards it. Yeah.
Where's the power in your? Where does that come from? What? Because you said that there was your art became powerful.
Oh,
How did that exhibit? What came out of you to make it powerful that other
oh,
people can actually see?
just the realism effects, and then how you play with textures and patterns and lighting and effects in the artwork, or as far as transitional value changes go, or abrupt value changes. That became the area where the power came from.
And then you learned that at Long Beach City or Long Beach State or in art class, or how did you pick that
Oh,
technique up? At what part of your journey did that you started to develop that much of a craft? Was it
oh,
later in your life?
that was probably middle school going to college, middle school going to high school, that style and that powerfulness started to come there before my second art class was 12th grade in high school. But it became that way before that because I was doing so many drawings ahead of time.
Yeah, and when you did your drawings, your art, was it primarily your family at the beginning, or did other people recognize it? When you started to actually have exhibits and showings, when did that start up?
Oh, that was before I was doing like portraits and stuff. I would do like caricatures and different drawings of different characters, or make up my own characters, and then I started doing portraits of people and different things from that nature.
So that was at a young age?
Yeah, that was around between 12 to like 15 or 16, and then it just kept developing more and more. Like the still lifes and the setups and the props and stuff started to come along at that point. It was before college.
And you mentioned that, again, I want to go back to that power, that because your work, and I have seen your work, and that's why, we're chatting, because, we met at a family gathering for the first time, right? It was your brother and sister-in-law, and was it Christmas, or what? When was that?
It was Christmas.
It was Christmas, right? And you and I, we just started chit-chatting, and next thing you know, we're like brothers in arms,
Yeah.
So we both played ball. We both threw down a little bit in our youth, and then we ended up being artists.
Yeah.
So it's like, so I guess you can go from the athletic world into the art world.
Yeah.
But that's why I don't have anger, but I have a longing. And when I'm lighting a film, or if I'm lighting even a commercial, I always tell the actors that I literally need to fall in love with them. I need to like see them through my lens and my light. And if I'm not falling in love with that, with what's in front of my camera, if I'm shooting a car or even a landscape.
Oh yeah.
If I'm not, then I know it's not right yet. The lighting isn't quite right. The lensing isn't right. The angle.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how? How do you know it's right in the right direction when you're working your art?
Oh.
Because it's a pretty intense thing for me. I mean, we all kind of we're making movies, but truth be known, it's kind of a really highly personal thing that I get affected by.
Yeah, it's definitely very gritty and raw whenever I'm doing the painting, like whether it's a small scale or a large scale, especially with large scale paintings, because you put your all into it when you're doing it, like even like the gripping of the ground and how you handle the paints and how you handle the canvas and the manipulations, the moves you make, along with the styles and the techniques. There's a lot of different crafty little techniques that you do with the acrylic paintings that come into play at some points, and then you got to know when to not bring certain ones into play.
And then did something for me, I was kind of picked on when I was young. I was, short.
Yeah.
I didn't fit in. I was of not the right color, if you will.
Yeah.
And it's not a big deal. I don't want to go, because we never played the victim in our family, because my father was a Marine, and
Oh, wow.
you kind of grow up like there's no such thing as a victim, because, if they don't want to play with you this week, well, they may want to play with you next week, they were kids. So my father was really good at making sure that we took ownership and responsibility over our own happiness. But growing up, I grew up in the 60s, trying to fit in was kind of lonely. And I think that's where I gravitated to the camera, photography primarily, and then lighting later in life, because I could create this emotionality, because I spent a lot of time alone when I was younger, just because I didn't fit in. And then, when you become an athlete, you play football, you're balling, and all of a sudden you're kind of cool. So I kind of bloomed in junior high, high school. I kind of, came back around because, okay, now you're the cool kid because you play football.
Yeah.
Did you have a similar path or something, that where people, bullying you? And is that in your art now? Where does that power come from? And
Oh, yeah, definitely. It can definitely exhibit it in some of my artwork, like the line work and stuff, the detailing, how sometimes I do the different depth perception things to get a feel or an engaging space or interaction with it. And I'm always working a lot with lighting too, like the different lighting and stuff has to be right to be able to see where to do certain manipulations. But like, definitely when I was growing up, I was bullied as well. Elementary school, middle school and high school. And then I always would use my power in what I say or what I do without saying those words. I would say it with my artwork. And with bullying, I would have to say it with what physical actions I would do to that person. So they would know at the end of the encounter with me that I was powerful. So whether it was heartfelt for them or physically, they would know at the end I was powerful.
Yeah, it's I think we kind of grew up in a different time and a different day, but I think a lot of that is what keeps me focused of knowing that I have an ability, I have a confidence level because when I was younger, I did stick up for myself. My father always said, you got to stick up for yourself because you if you get in a little fight when you're a kid and you get bloodied a little bit, that will heal. And you'll, but if you back down and you don't stick up for yourself, and if you don't follow your passion, and you submit, you lose self-respect and you can never recover from that.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, that's what sustained my career because, as you know, with art, it's so subjective, and in the film industry to find a career, it's very hard, and to sustain one's even harder.
Oh yeah.
So you got to kind of be tougher than everybody else in order to get through the point where you're starting to get some success.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know right now you are starting to get some success with your art pieces. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how's that starting to change your life right now?
Oh yeah, I've been one example of it was 2017. I was just like, I don't understand abstract artwork, but I was all like, but at the same time, I know I can create it. So maybe I should just try abstract for a little while. So then I started seeing this thing called fluid acrylic work or fluid artwork. And then they had different techniques like dirty pours, swipes, and all these different ninja swipes, and these flip cups, straight cups, and open cup dirty pours and drags, and all these different terminologies and techniques. And I was just absorbing it all. And then I would apply one technique. Then I'd do two techniques, and I'd do three, and I'd merge them. And then all those different manipulations would come into play with how to do it and when to execute certain aspects or attributes into the artwork.
So, and where's your art now starting to show? And I heard you also got you're getting some press and publicity now. I think you're on a either a podcast or a radio interview or just recently.
Yeah, I was on the radio channel with this guy named Danny Lemos, I believe that's his name, and he wanted to put me on this radio show. So I was like, okay. So he gave me a shout out about my art being at the Cerritos Library. So that was free publicity there and on his radio show. I believe it's 99.1.
Yeah, and that's where I came down and saw your art, and your pieces they're amazing. And again, for our friends out there, I have a thing about not wanting to cut the B-roll and then do all this insert stuff.
Yeah.
So you can find Erik's work in the description, and I'll go ahead and I'll tag you. But tell me what your Instagram is, and then let the folks know, and I'll also put it in our description for the show.
Oh, okay. My Instagram, where you can find my artwork, is EJ Powers 29, and also I have another one which is EJP _is_ art.
Okay, and that's it. And we'll have that in the description. Yeah. Since it says between two apple boxes, I notice you have some tools on your right, and it's not an apple box on your left. Why don't we start with what's on your right first, and what's on the apple box there, and how important to you are those to you?
Oh, there's plenty of different ones that are important, but these ones in particular, I usually use the spatulas to like swipe and do the different techniques. And this is like to do noodling around with, and also a swipe, and then I blow the things out and with straws. So all these different props, and then also water is a real big component into it as well. because you have to mix that medium with water to let it flow and it do its thing. And the more control you have, the less water you put. The more water you put, the less control you have. And sometimes it's good to have less control in things, so you have freedom of liberty to like explore and create. And then as it's drying, there's different things you can do, whether it's as it's settling and hardening and becoming a surface. Yeah.
And then it's not an Apple box on your left, but can you hold that up and
Oh.
show the folks what is that thing and why is it here?
Oh, it's a radio or a speaker. So I always use this because it's just great motivation, because everybody needs motivation from somewhere. And I usually use the music as one. And there's different moods I get into with the artwork, and then certain music I'll pick based on the mood I'm in to do that particular piece. And then it just conveys itself through the artwork whenever I'm creating.
So that the music is something that it inspires you, it ignites something within you, it helps you see what's evolving in front of
Yeah,
you.
what's coming forth, or what I have imagined in my mind, and what I'm picking out of my mind in my creativity zone. I call it, I'm in the zone. Literally, I go into a zone that I go into when I create artwork. And sometimes I don't even eat. I'll go like 8 hours or whatever the prep time is to do the work, and I zone in. So that's just a place I go. And then the music gives me the inspiration or the power or whatever I have to go through to create this work. Yeah.
So, music is really important, I think, in the film industry, or the art and craft of making films, because
Yeah.
the thing about filmmaking, as compared to your art,
Mm-hmm.
the film art is the most collaborative art form that I've ever participated in. We have everywhere from production designers, wardrobe.
Oh, yeah.
We have the lighting crew, we have the actors, the director, the writers,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like it in a way. I really don't. I get a little pushback on this, but I don't consider film really, if you're doing it commercially, as art. It's more like a craft with artistic elements, because there's just too much commerce involved and a lot of compromise.
Oh.
But with you, you're a singular artist. I kind of envy that. It's like a
Yeah.
musician.
Uh-huh.
Are there times that you want to collaborate, or how does that, or is it you're good with
Yeah.
yourself and just creating what's in front of you?
I'm good with myself alone, but I may have a collaborative piece to do with this woodworker guy that I met at the Cerullo's library. So I'm trying to see what his vision would be to create something that we can collaborate with. But most of the time I just get my own inspiration, my own little, I look at something on the ground like a concrete or something like paint that's splattered or graffiti, any little thing can inspire me. Even a leaf can inspire me to create an art piece, because then you see the colors in that leaf when it's freshly falls off of a tree to the time it's tarnishing and hardening and cracking and deteriorating away. I see the beauty in everything from a leaf to a snail on the ground or a worm or a butterfly. Different things inspire me, and I just get inspiration from everything I see, because the more I can see, the more I can create, and then I bring that vision into my art. Yeah.
And following on that, if you could give some encouragement and advice for younger artists who are just starting to,
Oh.
feel their craft coming out, they're actually starting to create. What words of advice or encouragement can you give them when they're at this early part of their journey? They could be young, they could be old, but
Oh, yeah.
but they're actually starting to find their voice. What can you advise them or share with them?
Yeah, the artwork is definitely your voice, and it's how you speak without saying a word. And it gets to the point where your presence is already in the room before you even come into the room, when your artwork speaks louder than anything you have to say. So in that, I always say develop your style as much as possible, make your style your own, so that at that point you are your own brand, and then everything you do and everything you walk and everything that you carry yourself with is about your artwork.
Well, I thank you for coming. Well, actually welcoming me into your home.
Yeah.
And it's again, folks out there. It's Erik's work. Check him out. It's really inspiring work. I kind of have high standards for what as far as visual impact for me. And Erik's work is it's outstanding. So, Erik, brother, thanks for having me. And hopefully we'll be able to do another chat soon.
Oh yeah, that'll be definitely great.
Okay. All right, guys. Take care. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Cool. Hey.
Wow, that was good.
That wasn't too bad.
Wow. I was pretty nervous.
Oh, yeah, me too. I mean,
like,
hey, dude, one man band, right?
yeah.
Man, thanks so much. And your mom's been awesome. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna cut this and we'll see how it turned out.